Now, another thing to be thinking about when it comes to your legacy plan is trying to figure out what is your practice worth, and then evaluating that over time. And so there's three main standard valuation methods out there. There's the income-based approach, which probably is the most common. This uses a net income and cash flow to estimate value. This is the AVIDA way of evaluating businesses, right? This is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, AVIDA, times an industry multiplier. Typical chiropractic industry multipliers range from 1.5 times to 3 times AVIDA, depending on the practice's profitability, location, and risk factors, right? This works best for highly profitable practices with steady incomes. This is one way that many business brokers will evaluate your practice and give you a number when it comes to how much your practice is worth. Another way is the market-based approach. This compares your practice to similar recently sold practices in your area. Now, this may or may not be beneficial because you may not have had any practices sold in your area recently. But if you do, this is a way you can compare it if it's a similar type practice, similar size practice and whatnot. They also may use price per revenue or price per patient ratios in this particular valuation approach. Things like, half a times or 1 times annual revenue is a common benchmark, or $150 to $500 per active patient, depending on patient retention and case types. This is best, again, for estimating fair market value based on real sales data, but it may or may not be beneficial depending on how many sales have happened in your area. And the third one, which is probably the one I like the best, is the profit method. And this is where you determine your average profit after all expenses, including your salary, over the past 3 years, right? So you look at your practice historical data for the past 3 years, and you find out what the profit of the practice is after all expenses have been paid, including your salary. And you multiply that profit number times 4 and times 5. So you get a range between 4 and 5 times of profit. So for example, a practice that has an average profit of $100,000 is worth between $400,000 and $500,000, right? 4 to 5 times that $100,000. So this one I like this one. This one is usually the way that we will give doctors at least a ballpark on what their practice is worth. And again, this is just for you to understand where you're at with your practice and where, if you grow it, how much of a bigger exit you can make over time.